Hey, it's ODB from OLP, your mini trucking podcast, and we're going to jump into the second truck that was featured on the cover of Street Trucks. The first, if you recall, we went over was a year prior, so August of 2000, right, which was, I think, issue 11. This, if we take a look over here, issue 23, and basically you have Jay's truck on the cover. Really badass, what appears to be a rolling shot, unless, Courtney did some magic and team. You also have crew cut from the February issue until now, which I think was 7 issues. This was the 7th where it appears technically on the cover, because they give the truck away at the Cal Truck Jam, which we had, again, I know I mentioned this in the past, we had Joey and Heather on to mark the 20th anniversary, almost to the day that the truck was given away when Heather won it, rather. So what I want to do again is look at highlight Street Trucks. This is the second, number 2, mini truck on the cover. And what we'll do is we'll jump over, and I said Courtney, and when you first look at this, you would think, wow, is this, not that Courtney didn't shoot great features, but this is kind of reminiscent of what Brian McCormick would shoot, with the water laid down. But we can see here clearly text and photo by Courtney Halliwell. This is Jay Larossa, and it says he breathes new life into his 97 S-10. This one was titled Notorious. Jay Larossa, owner of Sport Truck Specialty in Carson, California, it kind of says. And I pointed this out, I think, with the last one that I went through, showing the first mini truck on the cover of Street Trucks. This is the second. But they always did just really great layouts. And I love that this is a side shot, so a little bit different. So we saw on the cover, obviously, you have that rear kind of 3/4 shot, totally different angle, but it was real eye-catching, I'm sure, for those picking this one up on the newsstand. You have the classic S-10 97 with billet wheels, and then you've got the reflection right down there, and it just looks damn good. Here again, you see very reminiscent, and I have torn this out, whether I was actually renewing it or maybe back in the day I just wanted to be able to see it without the little deal there. But you basically have this reflection, and you could see when Brian McCormick was on, he talked about shooting trucks in this same spot where they could spray water down. And I think they would have a water truck come and maybe even do it, or they worked it out with the facility somehow. But really, really epic photography. It shows the planning that went into things to really just make these covers amazing, including these features in general. Here you see the GMC Envoy front end with the core support and HID headlights. A little bit different in that era, kind of those valences. That one was maybe a street scene, or maybe it was another product, but it was something similar to that. This is a cool mod that you didn't see very often, and it's kind of one of the reasons why on Bada Bing, I have not necessarily the bed. Mine's on the inside, so it's kind of behind the rear seat, but always like that mod to be able to hide the license plate. Here you see the factory 2.2, and this was the same engine that I've mentioned, I'm sure, several times now, that was in my S-10. Later down the road, when Courtney was at a magazine called Trucks, it was a little bit more obscure. He did actually write about Jay's truck, and I have posted that and tagged Jay in the past on Instagram. And it was when Jay had pulled this engine, and I think they were going to do a 350 or newer style, V8 engine. I forget exactly the details on it, but I would assume that maybe he still has this truck. Don't know whatever happened to it. And you can see Chaotic, it looks like right there. So that would have been Ryan. I believe that's the Chaotic logo. Ryan, shout out to him from Counts Customs, and did the damn thing for many, many years. So like if we just flip back real quick and just soak this thing in. Jay LaRosa, new life into his 97 dime. Just killer, man. Classic. And it kind of reinforced to me that these trucks of the era, even past 94 for the dimes, that they could still be made into trucks that you know, could go to maybe a good guy show and people would give it a thumbs up because it kind of had that hot rod appeal. So you had those 4 pages, and it's like, boom, look, we're not over yet. This is a 6-page feature, and you can see I always dug that grill as well. It was a little bit different. You can see the graphics, how good they line up with the smooth hood cowl. One of the key standout things on this, not only the paint, but look at the interior. Really kind of that hot rod feel with the bucket seats, the kind of the floating type amps in the back. And I think the silver around the bezel really contrasted nicely with the red. You also see the white face gauges, which were huge at that time. We have the dual needle gauge, it looks like there on the left side of the steering wheel. Just really, really clean. Real nice kind of tribal style graphic. And then you have the intro Vista billet wheels. Inside of the bed, kind of hot rod themed, you know, basic, I guess, overall, but with the wheel tubs, I think it kind of gives it that hot rod feel still, and super clean, nothing overly done. Here you can see the, I believe it's, yeah, BAD, Build Accessory Direct steering wheel. Got the tachometer in there, and yeah, it looks clean. Looks like they shaved right there where I mentioned before there was a little punch out. And that was a good spot to put like the alarm little light. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? Again, Jay Larossa, shout out to him. And you can see there, ends with the ST. We know that that was the end of the feature, so to speak. But yeah, what an epic shoot. And again, Courtney did this. Very kind of tip of the cap, I'm sure, to Brian McCormick. Not that Courtney couldn't shoot these features, obviously, but it was a nice layout where Brian would shoot a lot of these, and I believe this is probably the same place. I know Fuelish Media has chimed in the past, and he said this truck, Jay's truck, was one that really inspired him with his. So definitely cool stuff. And again, really poster-worthy, banner-worthy, because, you know, if you took all this away and you just have the S10 and the reflection, pretty epic stuff. And of course you got the original, what I call the OG Street Trucks logo. So yeah, what do you guys think, man? Well, I could do more of these, maybe continue on, maybe the first 10 mini trucks on the cover. And again, pretty cool. The other thing to point out here that was a little bit different is, again, it does appear to be a rolling shot. It certainly could have been, you know, superimposed, you know, based upon the tricks that they did, you know, especially with that front wheel kind of turning. I would think going down the street with the wheel turned like that, it probably isn't going to be a rolling shot. But the other thing is, this was kind of a new thing at that time, putting the turn signal indicator, which is really a standard thing. I remember when I got it on my 08 Silverado, you know, I thought it was like, you know, more higher end because it was like, you know, not all the trucks had them at that point, it seemed like. But that, you know, early in the 2000s, that was definitely something that you would add in, or maybe the street scene mirrors potentially had that option. You can see the tag up here, and looks pretty good. And then the way the back window is here with all this painted, pretty cool. But again, you know, you've got the roller here, the rolling shot, and then when you look at that front wheel, with it being turned, it probably is just, I would say maybe it's just standing or sitting there. And it's kind of blurred the way they kind of did that. So certainly a possibility. You have the Street Trucks logo. They always did the flames in there. They kind of switched that up a little bit to theme it. I think it was pretty clean. And I always loved how it just said the all-encompassing custom truck publication. Remember, these guys had split off from the other guys, you know, from Truckin and Mini Truckin and things like that. So they really wanted to put the flag in the ground with the all-encompassing custom truck pub. And that's what they did. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep it tuned. Keep it locked to OLP. Turn on that bell notification. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. We at ya. Peace.